Lamek, Kim Lamek. Is it a must for green card holder to host you, or even someone who has finished his studies and work can host you and give you his address? It's a good question. Let's talk about the hosting aspect, the accommodation aspect, and the sponsorship aspect. Remember, for diverse visa lottery, there are some important documents required from the host or sponsor. These documents are the likes of affidavit of support, I-134 form, IRS tax transcript or 1040 form, your host stroke sponsor a green card or driving license. All these documents are important, of which I think a student cannot even provide such. So a student cannot provide the documents required. However, the accommodation part of it, let's say, for example, you have somebody who can provide these documents, somebody else who can provide the documents, and maybe somebody else who can host you. That will be easy. There is no issue about that. There is no issue if you have somebody else to provide the documents and then somebody else to host you. That's the case. As for your DS-260, that permanent address, it's not a must for that person to host you or even provide the documents. So kama umeelewa. Let me give you an example of my case. While filling the DS-260, I used the address of somebody else. And that person is in New Mexico, I think so. And this person ended up not hosting me or even providing the documents. Somebody else provided the documents. And this somebody else ended up hosting me. So during the interviews, I was asked, okay, this person who has provided the affidavit of support, and then there is also this person in your DS-260, who do you want, among the two, who will be your host? Among the two, who will be your host? I chose the one who provided the documents. And I had to tell the consular officer to update the mailing address where the green card will be sent to. Remember, that address that you put on your DS-260, permanent address of somebody who is in the US, will be useful for sending green card or your social security number or card. So it's so important that you use the right address. And for that address, again, you can even ask anybody who is in the US, a good person, of course, to give you their address so that you can use to fill and submit your DS-260 within a very short time. So your permanent address, your DS-260, should not be a big issue. Yes, should not be a big issue. You can use any address. Now, the student. The student cannot provide affidavit of support. The student cannot provide the forms, IRS tax transcript, cannot provide. However, you can get somebody else to provide the documents. Alafu ukifika US, you can end up being hosted by the student you want. So it's possible as long as you've taken care of the document part of it. So see issue, tafuta tu host mwenye anatoa documents, no, host or sponsor. When somebody gives you documents, that person becomes a sponsor. And this same sponsor can be the host also. Like for my case, sponsor ended up becoming what? A host for me. Yes, my sponsor became a host for me, so it can be one and the same person. For your case, it seems that you have somebody who is a student in the US who is willing to host you. That person will be doing hosting part of it, just accommodation. But for the documents, tafuta mjamaa mwingine mwenye anaweza kukupatia documents. Look for somebody who can provide documents. Essentially, it should be a permanent resident or a citizen who should be able to host you and provide the documents. That should be the intention. Watu wawili tu. However, being pragmatic or realistic, it's also possible that a student can host you or accommodate you. The problem with that student is that you will need to chip in. Ana pesa, You need to support that student in terms of financial, whatever. Yes, pulling together the resources. Otherwise, if you get somebody who is a permanent resident or a citizen who is already established, you will not struggle much. So it's not a good idea to look for a student. That's my answer. However, if it's the last resort, you don't have anybody else to host you, so be it. It's okay. It's okay. Just make sure that student has what? The mailing address you can use in filling and submitting the DS-260. And then also make sure that student is legally in the United States. Aja Kemboy. So yeah. Akuena papers legally in the United States for that student. Otherwise, it's, in my opinion, I recommend that you look for somebody who will stand with you, guide you, mwenye anajua, who understand the United States system to help and guide you. And this person would technically be a permanent resident who has stayed in the US for some time or a US citizen. That way you'll get some experience. A student may not even have a match. A student will be just like you. That's the answer to your question, Mr. Kim Lamek. I don't know if it's Kimane, I don't know if it's Kimutai, I don't know if it's, I don't know. But I've tried to answer your question. A student is not ideal. But if it's the last option, so be it. As long as you get somebody else to provide the documents. God bless you so much.